Welcome to the Chris Hanna Show.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Chris Hanna Show. Today I'm going to be talking about, something I've been asked a lot about actually lately, is how does one rise up the corporate ladder in their career? You see, throughout my career, I've had the opportunity to be promoted many different times in a variety of different industries. I have grown into management roles and then senior leadership roles and ultimately have become a CEO of a company as well. So I know and I have some experience of how to rise up the ranks. And it's been interesting hearing from former colleagues or employees that I've had asking, how do you continue to do this? And some of the coaching that I've done, it's some of the questions that I get often. So what I've done is I've compiled 7 steps that I think people need to know in order to climb up the corporate ladder. So the first one that you have to start with, and this is a thing that I believe is so important, is to first define your career goals. Look, you never know where you're going to get to go if you don't plan where that end destination or direction is for yourself. You have to map out what are the goals that you want to achieve personally, professionally, financially, and those all kind of tied together to whatever your role is or whatever is going to bring you in the income that you're looking for. Now, it can be tricky to sometimes come up with what your goals ultimately are, but you have to take a hard look at yourself and determine, what do you want? What level of responsibility are you looking for? What skill sets or talents do you have that are at a certain level? Or which ones do you need to maybe invest in to get you to where you ultimately want to be? For the longest time, I always thought that I wanted to be in a senior leadership position in the corporate world. And so what I had done was invest heavily in myself, attending different courses, reading books, listening to podcasts, watching courses, networking with people who are in that position, getting mentorship from people who are in those positions. Ultimately, it's about figuring out, what do you need to do to close the gap from where you are now to where you ultimately want to be? Which leads me to point number 2 when it comes to trying to climb up the ladder in terms of your career, is you got to create a development plan for yourself. Now, by development plan, I mean that you need to outline, again, where you are now and ultimately where you want to be. And how do you close the gap? What experiences do you need to gain to get a role that you're looking for? What talent do you need to develop? What knowledge do you need to pull in? You have to have a hard look at yourself and really be reflective of, and honest actually, of who you are right in this moment. And in order to get what you want, do you have the self-awareness to know what are your shortcomings and what are the gaps that you need to fill for yourself? Because if you don't, that's okay too. Because you can actually ask others who are in that position or maybe have that position available, or you know of who maybe have done that position before that you're looking for, what would be needed to be successful in the role. And if you don't have those skill sets, if you don't have them, not at 100%, but I'd say like 70 to 80%, well then how do you figure out how to get there? You have to develop a plan. And how you develop a plan is the third step here, is you also need to invest in yourself. Look, ongoing personal and professional development is critical for your success as you move forward, both in your life and in business. Doesn't matter what kind of career you're in. The more that you can focus on improving yourself, gaining knowledge, gaining insight, the better you're going to be. The best investment you can always make is the one in yourself. It's going to be the one investment that will pay dividends for years to come. There were times during my career where I felt like I was going through the motions. I was miserable. I was unhappy. I was unhappy because I wasn't working towards any sort of goal. And when I started to establish those goals for myself, and I started to develop a plan and invest in myself and attend more courses and conferences, attend more workshop and network opportunities, listen to more podcasts, audiobooks, try different things to give myself more experience, the more I grew, the more I learned, and the more opportunities I saw for myself, which ultimately has led me to where I am today, but will continue to help me as I move forward through my life and through my career. It's that moment of clarity that comes when you realize you have to invest in who you are. And on the other side of major changes to yourself is another version of you. You are ultimately about trying to unlock that next version of yourself. Number 4 on the list of ways that you can actually continue to climb the ladder throughout your career is what I call spearheading a new project. Look, people who actually are successful in any role are the ones who actually demonstrate that they have got initiative. Initiative to me is probably one of, if not the most important qualities that I look for in somebody to try and hire and bring into my business. It is something that is so critical and so important. So if you can have an opportunity to spearhead a project, to lead it, to be a key major contributor to it, to help solve a problem that exists within the business, and you can fix it and make it right, that's going to set you up for success. Because ultimately, to get up to the next level, to maybe become a leader within a business, doesn't matter, again, what type of business, what type of industry you're in, the more that you focus on helping drive some initiative forward that's going to improve the business, it shows that your ability to work on the business is important and that you have the motivation, the desire, the talent, the skill set to make something happen. So don't be afraid to put your hand up, to volunteer to do something, to just bring forward an idea. Don't just come with a problem, come with the solution, and you will stand out from the crowd. Now, as you continue to move up, it doesn't have to be always into leadership positions, but I think the skills of leadership are important. So number 5 on this list is demonstrate leadership. Demonstrate that you've got the right attitude, the knowledge, the experience to be seen as a leader within the business that you're operating in. Leaders come in all shapes and sizes, all types of forms. There are people leaders, there are process leaders, there are people who just ultimately just exude leadership, but they don't have any formal title associated with being a leader. And that is perfectly fine, because leaders don't have to have a title. Leaders are people who do what's right when no one's looking. If you continue to live that mantra and operate that way, you will be more successful in your career, and you will get the recognition and the knowledge that you are a go-to person that can be relied upon. Number 6, build your network. Look, if you want to rise up the ranks inside a business or in a new opportunity or position, you do need to connect with other people. Look, life is not a solo game. It is a social game. It's kind of like the game of Survivor. I've said this to some colleagues that I've met with in the past before and talked about this, is that the television show Survivor, its motto is outwit, outlast, outplay. Big part of it, though, is that social game, that social networking that needs to happen. How well you can get along with other people, how well you can kind of leverage other people and experiences and talents and situations. Building a network is so important. You need allies, ultimately, in business to help you, to assist, give you direction, give you resources, for you to give back to them as well. A network is going to be one of, if not the most important thing that you will need to have in order to be successful. But you have to work at it. It can't be self-serving. More than anything else, the network has to be one where everybody wins. It's got to be win-win for everyone. All right, and the last piece that you need to remember if you are ultimately trying to move up, whether it's the corporate ladder or just to another position in your career to elevate yourself, is that you have to excel in your current role. I've seen far too many people who say that they want to get to the next level. They want to move into a new position with higher pay, more responsibility, bigger accountabilities, bigger impact, but they aren't doing well in their current position. You can't be tapped on the shoulder and say, hey, it's your time, if you're not doing well where you're currently at. It's important to show that you're able to be in that consistent state of always delivering, and oftentimes over-delivering the results that you are expected for. That you're able to play well with others and be a great team member and contributor and demonstrate the right level of initiative that I've previously talked about. You have to excel, not just be adequate, not just be okay in your role. You have to excel. That's the only way that you can ultimately, again, be tapped on the shoulder to say, it's your time. You are ready. Far too many people forget that. And just because they put their hand up saying they want something, they feel they should get something, that's entitlement. And entitlement's not going to get you anywhere. So, that's a quick episode for this week. Again, there's 7 steps that I've given in order for you to rise up in your career. Number 1 was define your career goals. Number 2, create a development plan. Number 3, invest in yourself. Number 4, spearhead a new project. Number 5, demonstrate leadership. 6, build a network. And number 7, excel in your role. If you think there's something that I've missed that's glaringly obvious, if there's things you've got comments or questions on, as always, you can always reach out and connect with me. You can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok. At Chris Hanna Show is the username. Again, until next week, have yourself an awesome time ahead, and make sure you are bringing the performance, the impact, and the productivity needed to succeed.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Chris Hanna Show. As always, the latest episodes are available to listen and subscribe to on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can also follow The Chris Hanna Show on LinkedIn, Instagram, or Twitter. For more resources and solutions, including blog posts, toolkits, ebooks, speaking sessions, and more, visit chrishanna.ca today. We look forward to connecting again with you soon for another episode of The Chris Hanna Show.